Welcome back to the Takeout. There is a new book out called Screen People. It argues that's what we've become. A people defined by screens, what we do with those screens and how we present ourselves on those screens. I spoke with Megan Garber, staff writer for The Atlantic, and she's the author of the book. Here's part of that conversation. I think one of the greatest compliments a writer can give another writer is to say, I wish I had written what you wrote. Megan, I'm going to say that about something I came across, page 139, and I'm going to read it for my audience.
Okay, great.
Facts require humility. Facts require patience. Facts require pain. Fiction requires the opposite. As entertainment grows its influence over our national stories, as it becomes ever more the true American ideology, it comes for the facts, too. Wish I'd written that. I'm not even sure that's the whole.
That was amazing.
I'm not even sure that's the whole point of the book, but it's something I reached in and pulled out.
No, that really is. That really is the core of it. I'm glad that's what you focused on. Yeah.
Help my audience understand what you're driving at.
Yeah. I mean, we think of ourselves, I think, so often as characters in a show, as pieces of entertainment. We talk about main character energy. People are canceled. People have plot arcs. People have brand identities. And I think on the internet and in the culture that the internet is creating and giving way to, there is just this outstanding question of what are we? Are we facts or fictions? Are we people or are we kind of something else? Are we performers or are we humans? And on some level, we're both at the same time, but I don't think we've fully reckoned with the consequences of that. And I think fact and fiction is the core of so much, not just information, but of humanity.
Right, because characters are, at their essence, an invention.
Yes, exactly. And they are owed nothing morally. Right. You can talk about a character terribly. You can make up things about them. You can make up lies about them, but they wouldn't even be lies, really, because they're characters. They don't exist.
Right.
And when we think of ourselves as characters, when we see other people as characters, I think some of those assumptions translate over, and it becomes ever easier to see other people who are the most real thing there can be as fictions.
And just beneath the passage I read, you write about Samuel Johnson, who you would agree and I would agree, wish I'd written like him.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Talked about the insipid truth.
Yes.
Meaning, if you're a character, you're not allowed to be banal.
Right.
You're not allowed to be ordinary.
Right.
You're not allowed to be boring.
Right.
You can't be any of those things that most people are in their actual lived lives. That's the insipid truth of day-to-day existence.
Absolutely right. And I would add, too, you're not allowed to make mistakes, because performances are supposed to be polished, right? They're supposed to be ready for prime time. They're supposed to be ready for the stage. And I think, in everyday discourse, we all make mistakes. Of course, we misspeak. We say things not exactly as we intended to. I'm doing it right now. And when everything is a performance, I think we lose a little bit of that sense of expectation of mistake and of error, but also we lose the grace to allow each other to make mistakes and not have it be kind of an existential failing.
And it's a practical physics truism, but it's worth underscoring. Screen is not dimensional.
Right.
It's not three-dimensional.
Exactly. Yes. I think it's
and it
important.
Flattens.
It does. Exactly. And it dehumanizes in a certain way. It really does. It turns us into images.
And it is, in essence, and I think this is one of the things you're trying to drive at, inescapable. And because it's inescapable, we need to be more conscious of how it is changing us.
I think that's absolutely right. I think it's so easy to think of the internet and screens in general, computers, phones, as technology, right? As machines, as things that we use, tools that we wield to make our lives better. But I think actually it's better to think of them all as an environment, as an ecology almost, that we are existing within as a species, and I think also adapting to as a species. And I think we are slowly, but also very quickly, changing ourselves to fit the screens, for better, but often for worse.
You can listen to the rest of my very lively interview with Megan Garber on your favorite podcast platform.